Hello and welcome back to another installation of Cosmic Co-Pilots. I'm Michael.
And I'm Lana.
Welcome back. Today we're talking about the excitement around June 19th, and I'm going to throw it over to Lana and let her get us rolling here.
Okay, well, in
Excuse
a
me,
typical
not June
Mercury,
19th. It was July 19th. There we
yeah, I
are.
was going to say it's a
It's
typical
okay.
Mercury retrograde moment.
Listen, this is completely unrehearsed, as if we needed confirmation on that. But here we are, July 19th. Take it away.
Okay, so everybody's been talking about Barbeau's basket or however you pronounce it. I'm from
Barboat.
Texas.
Barboat. Can I just say, I've been muttering to myself, Barboat's basket.
Barbeau
I mean,
basket.
astrologers love to name things. Barboat's, continue. I'm sorry.
I don't think it's a basket. Okay, I'm just going to start off being with Uranian planets right out the gate. All right. I don't think this is a holder of anything. I think it's a slingshot. All right. Everything basically is at 4 degrees that's forming this aspect. And
Mhm.
it's making basically, there's 1 point missing on this configuration, this quote unquote basket. All right. And that 1 point is at the very top. And when you put that point on that, it makes into a six-pointed star.
Mm.
Well, everybody understands, even if you're not into the astrological techno babo bullshit, okay? Everybody understands what a six-pointed star is pretty significant because it's two trines connected together. That point, and the point I'm going to make here is that these 6 points, if you've got anything in your chart on any one of these 6 points, you're sucked into this whole thing. Okay? You're a part of this movement. And I'm going to call it a movement. It's not a still basket. I
Mhm.
believe that it's like a slingshot again, and I know I've done this before, but that 6 point that's going out there is at 4 degrees Sag. And that is vision, that is action, that is many cultures, okay? That is everything that is about what the collective is in an idealistic yet actionable state, okay? So my point in bringing this to everybody, and we're trying to, again, I'm trying not to be so technical, but if you've got things at 4 degrees Aquarius, 4 degrees Leo, 4 degrees Neptune, 4 degrees Libra, okay, and 4 degrees Gemini, you are caught up into this deal. Now, I'm just going to tell you right now, I've been feeling something coming for a long time. About 3 weeks ago, I finally mapped out my astrological chart to this configuration. And damn if I don't have 4 of 6 points in
Mm.
my chart.
And
So
it's like circuitry connected, and this is where traditional and VA kind of overlap. The more points engaged in your personal chart with what's going on in the sky, the more you're going to feel it.
exactly, exactly. I couldn't have said that better. Awesome. I'm glad you're here, Michael.
I'm glad you're here. Otherwise, we both wouldn't be here.
Anyway, the whole point is that, and the reason we're bringing this out is you may not know a lot about astrology, but if you've had your chart run and you've got 4 degrees of any one of these signs, again, they're Aquarius, Leo, Aries, Libra, Gemini, and Sag. If you've got any one of your planets on any one of those points, you're going to feel this transit, okay, in some way or another. Now, I just happen to be one of my major aspects is at the very tip of this. So
Mhm.
that's why I have a strong sensation that this basket is like a holding area. And then once this energy moves through us, it's going to be like catapulting us to that visionary state,
Mm.
okay, of trying to consolidate these energies. And these general energies are about basically reinvention through systematic controlled demolition. Now, I used to be a contractor.
I was going to say, for those who don't know you, when you mentioned demolition, your eyes lit up. You had a little bit of twinkle. It's like, because why? Well, demolition is part of construction.
I have blown some buildings up now, okay, in my
Yeah.
lifetime. I've blown up two very tall 25-story buildings.
Okay.
So It's very systematic. It is a plotting process. It's controlled because you want it to fall the way you want it to. You
Sure.
don't want it to fall in the wrong direction and hurt people.
Right.
Okay. But the opposing points that are creating the dynamic, the tension in it, are all about expansive and prideful leadership. Maybe that, and I don't have a good way to say that, but that, oh, I know it all kind of mentality. So I'm going to be the leader of the band bullshit.
Hmm. Yep. Yep. Yep.
Okay. That's what's being challenged here. And then the other thing is your individual will driven vision is raising its heads up and saying, wait a minute, what about me? Okay. So
How do I
this
fit
is
into, how does this affect me? I mean, you got, global institutions and leadership, but what about me?
what about
How is this
me?
going to show up in my world?
So this is a lot about the collective,
Hmm.
okay, voices raising up and those that are in authority toning down. And where is that balance? Okay.
Yeah.
Where is that balance? And what's significant about this, of everything that I've read, is that we haven't had this configuration in like 6,000 years, maybe. I think it is. It's been a month. It's been a minute.
Right.
So these are some heavy hitting planets. This is like you're bringing in 18,
Yeah.
all right, to move energy along, for lack of better words. The other thing that I want to bring up, and then I'm going to shut up and I'm going to turn it over to you, Michael, is that because the number 4 degrees is repetitious, I'm also into numerology.
Sure.
And to me, 4 represents stability. It's the number of the builder. Again, I'm going back to the building analogy. Okay. It is that takes 2 pairs. It takes 2 people working together.
Right.
Okay. 2 plus 2 to create 4. So it is the collective coming together to create that new energy that we're moving into. Now, we got solstices coming in
Yep.
August.
Yep.
So there's going to be some adjustments. And then we got retrogrades. We got 3 of the 5 major planets on September 4th are going to be in retrograde. So it's not, while it's going to feel woo like this because of that Sagittarian fire energy that's we're propelling towards, it's going to back down a little bit, and we're going to go through some, as you do anytime you incorporate anything, you cycle in and out.
Sure.
It's a process before we peak up again sometime next year. Don't ask me when, I haven't gone that far yet,
Yeah,
but
of course. Yeah.
that's to me what I see from a Western astrology standpoint. What do you see from a vibrational standpoint?
Well, I did a little research on Barbolt's basket because that's what I do. And this is not exactly a repeated cycle. We've come close in the past, and astrologers like to say, oh, this hasn't happened. Yeah, we've had some approximations toward it. There's similar outer planet situations where things have lined up like this, but it's not exactly a cloned pattern. So I tend not to get too worked up about major celestial events. I mean, they're important to look at, but I don't get overly locked in on them as being like the defining moment of who knows what. I think the big thing that I'm focusing on in this is the ignition switch, because I think of this as the event that kicks off a process. And basically, we're saying the same things just through different mechanisms. As I'm looking at this, I'm seeing Jupiter and Pluto in opposition. That's like the ignition switch that kicks off all the other stuff that we were talking about inside of all these trines and sextiles and semi-sextiles, which is where energy wants to flow more naturally and easily. So the thing that I was thinking about, and I'm looking at some of my notes here, this is looking at when we're looking at this current configuration, kind of figuring out the next steps as far as energetic expression, as you mentioned, for everyone. And it's almost like a cosmic update, very much like when you
Yeah.
update your computer system. The update may take 20 minutes to install. Okay, great. Well, think of that as July 19th, 9:13 a.m. Eastern, or wherever you are in the world. But then that update has to serve you for maybe 5 or 10 years, depending on how often you end up changing your computers or updating the actual computer system. That was our timer saying that we were going to keep it to 10 minutes. Well, that didn't happen. Come on, stop here. This is great. Completely unrehearsed. So, rather than having folks get all revved up about, oh, the 19th, what's going to happen? Probably nothing's going to happen on that day, in my opinion, but it sets the stage then for this update to unfold over the weeks, months, and years ahead. Another way to think about it is think about it when they have to launch a ship into space. One of NASA's ships. You have a launch window. You've got this certain period of time where you got to get all your ducks in a row, and you've got a limited window to get that from Earth up into orbit. That's kind of how I'm looking at this and other major alignments that happen that
So,
astrologers love to get excited about.
so just as an FYI, Michael,
Yeah.
okay? So when we do implosion, controlled demolition,
Yep.
every major project I've done, which I've mentioned has been 25 stories or above, all right?
Mm-hmm.
It takes 9 months of planning
Yeah.
for about uh, 2 minutes
Mm.
of excitement
Yeah.
because there's two explosions that go off within that controlled demolition. And then you've got about 3 to 6 to 9 months of cleanup.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. So we're talking the same language
Totally. Totally.
totally. And I agree with the system reboot. It's just that you need to know that anytime you do a system reboot, some of the pieces of
Right.
that program are going to go away.
One of the things I always tell people is, well, I want to upgrade my software. So hold off. Upgrades break things. Certain things disappear. New things show up.
Right.
And I think you're right on the money. That's kind of what we're looking at here with this. It's almost like a little bit of, all right, the system's kind of doing its thing, but it's not really working the way that it needs to. So now the universe is saying, all right, we're going to give you the new upgrade or do the demolition, but then you got to do the work. It's not some magic. And I think that's my biggest pet peeve where some online astrologers, they hold up these dates and days as being the end all be all. And if you're not on board, you're going to get left behind. Doesn't work that way. And you just provided an excellent example of, yeah, there's planning on the front end. The event is quick, just like because the transit only stays exact for, a day or so. And then most of that basket is gone. I went out about 15, 20, 25 days, and all that disintegrates. But then you're left with, well, what do we do with this? What do we do with the rubble?
Right.
How do we fix, how do we clean it up? Now that we've got a new operating system, well, what programs will run on that operating system that didn't run on the old one? And that's the fun part,
That's the
because
fun
then
part.
you're able to say, oh, well, maybe I can become more creative or more expressive or less of this or more of that. And I didn't have the capacity to do it before, but now, because that circuit was completed and juiced, boom, it's like a domino effect where things start
Right.
to kick off and then you're
Right.
able to navigate through that.
So I'm
So
curious. I'm curious, Michael.
yeah,
Did you do a VA vibe analysis on this
I
by
didn't,
chance?
and I could have, but basically there was so much going on in the natal. And the way we approach VA is you take a chart of anything. It could be, a personal chart, a mundane chart, synastry, doesn't matter. And we look to see where the most juice is. That's my scientific term. In other words, where's the most action, the most aspects, most planets connecting. And it's going to be hard to beat that first vibration. I could have looked at alternatives. In fact, as we're talking right here, I'll just throw some in real quick just to see out of the basic primes if we see anything major. But I would imagine, well, interestingly enough, the eighth vibe has a bunch of double trines, and all that is a concentration of the first vibe, meaning there's a lot of energy and motivation behind it. So when there's planets showing up in the eighth vibe, it really sparks, our core motivators and drivers. I'm looking at, there's energy all over the place, actually. So, we could
Well,
spend
eight
16 hours going.
eight kind of goes with the 2 by 2, the
Well,
four.
totally. Well,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
not to get all numeric, but you've got the first vibration, you double it as 2, double that as 4, double that as 8, double that as
Right.
16. So now we're into the sacred geometry. But here's an interesting thing, and I'm just doing this on the fly, completely unrehearsed, as I've said numerous times.
Oh, by the way,
One
this
thing
whole thing is unrehearsed, people.
one thing that I'm noticing real quick here is in the fifth vibe, which is free flowing energy and the curiosity. The seventh vibe is stillness. Eighth vibe is motivators. Nine is a different animal, but basically, grand trines are interestingly showing it up on that day in all these not all, but a lot of these other vibrations. And a grand trine is these three planets forming three trines simultaneously. And the thing about trines from a VA perspective is it's almost demanding that the energy flows smoothly. It will not tolerate disruption. It's got to find, how does things flow smoothly? It doesn't necessarily mean, well, it's going to be easy going and we can sing kumbaya and eat granola. That's not it. It's like, I'm not tolerating stuff that doesn't flow. So that is an interesting observation. I'm glad you asked that. And this is why astrologers always talk with each other, because no one person can have it all in their head and think of every possible way to look at this.
Well,
And
and at the risk of going too long, I want to add one thing that I think is critically important to this moment in time
sure.
is that this feels very much like a buildup, like you said, of an ignition switch.
Yep.
And when you have Jupiter and which is expansion and plutonium,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is demolition,
Yeah.
okay, together, shit's gonna blow up. We've been waiting. Everybody's been sort of feeling down, oppressed, like, oh, why can't we, do these things? People, this is the call to action, okay? It's now up to us. It's now up to us to create our reality, our
Yeah.
reboot, okay? So it's time for everybody to get their heads, their hearts, their minds, their spirit in the game and start manifesting how you want your life to look. Because the universe is saying, all right, here it is.
We're going
What
to
you gonna
level the
do with
playing
it?
field. We're going to blow up the old building and
What do you
enable
want
you.
to put here?
Yeah.
It's up to you. Okay.
Yeah.
And so I'm not suggesting you go out with a stick of dynamite and blow somebody's ass up. That's not what I'm
No, no,
saying.
please don't, because if you do, you're on your own. We'll probably get censored on YouTube for that.
I'm speaking in a
yeah, metaphorically.
metaphysical sense here. It is time for you to create your reality and to work with others. It's ideal opportunity because of it being the 2, the 4, the 8 vibe. It's a perfect time to community work with others to
Yeah.
create the environment that you want to live in. That's to me the big takeaway.
I agree. And it's not death and destruction to all of us. It's opportunity that's going to linger for years. And
Years.
this is, as you said, the ignition switch, I think is a really good way to think about this, because the transit's going to be long gone, but the after effects, if we play our cards right, can be maximized and utilized for a long time in the
Well,
future.
they'll be maximized for our children and our grandchildren and those grandchildren for a very, very long time. So
Yeah,
my only other parting word is if you want to know how it affects you personally, call either Michael or I. If you want
exactly.
vibrational
And you'll,
astrology, reach out to Michael. If you want Western, reach out to me. If you
Or
want
reach
a
out to both of
combo,
us. Exactly. You're getting two different. So, and what is your website? Let's make it easy for folks to find, because I know you
uh,
just launched a brand new spiffy website. Looks
it's
fantastic, by the way.
it's real simple. It's
Well,
upupuranus.com.
that's easy enough to remember. Upupuranus.com, correct?
Correct. Correct.
And if you want to find out more about me, I'm at blueridgeastrology.com. That's blueridgeastrology.com. And you can follow me on all the socials as well under the same moniker.
But I think it'd be awesome if somebody wanted to have a party and we do a reading up for both sides.
Yeah, well, it would be
That'd
very
be pretty
interesting to
cool.
see. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it would be. In fact, we may have just stumbled upon an idea here that we'll have to discuss in private. All right. Until next time, thanks for visiting with your cosmic co-pilots, and we'll see you whenever we get our acts together to do another one of these because we're not committing to anything. Thanks a bunch, and we'll see you
Peace
soon.
out, baby.
Peace.